let's start with data products. We all talk about it. Again, you're talking about the marketplace, but it's more about the product. And I'm going to read this definition to you, and then I'm going to talk about what I mean by it, because I think there's some real meaning that we want to pull out of this. So a data product is a composite resource that integrates data sets with a domain model to simplify access to business-centric metrics and logic and provide structured access through APIs and visualization tools. So let's break that apart and see what that means. Composite, we've got one whole thing that you can work with. So when you go to the marketplace, you're finding something that's whole and usable, right? We really want to take that ugly set of data sets. Think about the data that you're working with. Most of it came from systems that had another purpose. It wasn't for reporting. It was for capturing information. Maybe a point of sale system. Maybe an ERP if you're replacing that, right? The data there was structured to align with the way they captured and managed information. It was not structured for reporting. And it was definitely not structured for an executive who said, well, I think I want this, but wait a minute, actually I want it a little different, right? So you need a product that takes the data the way it was and restructures it, not with ETL for those of us that have had to suffer through that all the time, into something that a business-centric person can say, I actually care about X, Y, and Z, and I don't really care what the prod ID is. I don't care about primary and secondary or primary and foreign keys. None of that matters to me. I just want my answers, right? So a data product enables it, and that's how we get there. So what makes a good data product? We've called out 4 pieces of information for this. I think the 4th level is the one that's most often forgotten about. But let's talk about this. Accessibility. And when I talk about accessibility, it's not I can find the data tables. So who here has a data catalog? Calibra, Elation, one of those, right? So you got something there, right?
People mean it's only used.
Yeah, okay, even worse. Yep. So maybe you have some metadata. Maybe it's searchable. So you've got an executive. Would you want one of your senior executives combing through one of those tools? No, not a chance, right? So when we talk about accessibility, it's not just findability. It's not that marketplace with the cool search and an Amazon-like situation. It is a tool that describes your information in a way that your business person cares about, right? So that's accessibility. And along those lines, we need to think about who they are. You've got your executive, you've got a data scientist, and everything in between. So you want to understand who they are and what they're asking for. We had some fun people from In-N-Out Burger here. And one of the things they told me at lunch the other day is a lot of the people there started in the store. And so IT is populated with a lot of people that started in the store. The good news is they get what it means to be in the store, right? The bad news is many of them didn't come from IT originally. They don't have some of that different background. And so for them, there is some overlapping, so some of this is made easier in understanding the roles, but at the same time, there's probably a sense where you want to get some outside views. And I think that's the case because at least 3 of them are here right now, not in this room, but at the conference. So usability, it got to be easy, right? So it's not a Calibra, it's not a data catalog. It is a front-end interface that's easy to work with. But when you're looking for things, and I always emphasize this, it's things. If you're in the banking business, right? You care about customers, you care about transactions, you care about accounts. That's what you care about. You don't care about ACCT_ID, right? That's not what matters to you. So what we want to do is start to model our business, and we talked about that, in a way that you're seeing the things you're comfortable in seeing, right? Or I want to see burgers, or I want to see types of burgers, or I want to see stores, etc. So we need to work towards that. We need an effective search, documentation, and then next step, integrity. I'll tell you all a story. I'm 56 years old now, so this was a while ago. My very first job out of school was with Coopers & Lybrand. Anyone remember Coopers & Lybrand, PwC? I did my first project for the partner, and I built this really cool report, and it was really neat looking. But I didn't check my math. He brought it to all the other partners, and these were audit partners. And they looked at it. He was really impressed because he had this good-looking thing that some 21-year-old had done. Brought it to the other partners, and he came back, and I said, Steve, how'd it go? And Steve said, not good, Joe. I was like, what happened? He goes, did you do the math? They didn't add up. We lost integrity. It took us a while to bring that back, and it took me actually a little while to get back into things. So that integrity is important. The last area of this has to do with what we call interoperability. You are investing in lots of systems. It is incredibly important when you do that you stick with standards. We're going to talk about W3C standards for semantics. That's one way to do it. But in anything you're looking for, ask yourself, are there standards that I can rely on? Because if you're building a marketplace that doesn't have standards, you're building yourself into a hole that you can't get out of. If you get tired of your vendor, they're going to smile and say, next year's money, please, right? If you have standards, it's still not easy to move, but you can at least move. So that's important to us as you're making a good data product, that you're building it upon different standards that you can work with.